Hello everyone, Taylorson here and welcome back to the final episode of the Tour Auvergne Rhone Alpes playthrough here on the Tour de France 2026 game. There's lots to be settled today, like whether Matteo Jorgenson or Joao Almeida will win the general classification, whether Paul Seixas or Juan Ayuso will finish in the top three, and whether Tobias Haland Johannessen will hold on to his 5th place in the general classification. I've created a playlist on the channel if you've missed any of the episodes, so you can go back and watch them all back to back. But without further ado, let's get into this final stage. Here we go then, we're on the road and the plan is simple. First of all, keep Tobias Haland Johannessen in 5th in the general classification, and second of all, his brother Anders must go in the breakaway and get as many King of the Mountains points as possible. So we're going to advance up on this side of the road and finally get Anders his King of the Mountains jersey back, hopefully after Martin Urianstad has been wearing it on loan for the past couple of stages. He's in the breakaway and he's going to relay with Ben Healy all the way to the top of this climb. I'm hoping for many reinforcements, however. Well, I got the reinforcements, but they are all very good and they are slowly dropping me off the wheel with 1.5 kilometers to go until the top of the first climb. 8 minutes already is the gap to the breakaway, so it's once again looking possible that the breakaway could win today's stage. 2 EF riders, 2 HDS Astana riders in the breakaway, and we're advancing towards the top of the climb now. The pace is being upped by Movistar, who are riding for Kian Uiterbroeks. Maxim van Hils is with us and have just been dropped slightly off the rear of the group, but we're going to try and sprint to get back in. We're completely out of energy, but we're going to take the points that are left, and in the end we might just get past, I think that's Fortunato, and we do so on the bike throw to get 3 points for our King of the Mountains bid. And how crucial could that extra point be?
The front of the race has finished the descent. After the town of La Chambre, it's off
to great, nice. And on the second climb, things aren't looking too great for Anders Haland Johannessen. He's going to give way and be dropped by the breakaway, so no more King of the Mountains points. Which means we now switch to Tobias Haland Johannessen, and it is Project General Classification, as Paul Seixas is going for a move with 64 kilometers remaining. I mean, it's bold, but nobody's followed it. And now Matteo Jorgenson's going. We've nearly reached the bottom of the descent of this climb, and Paul Seixas has got over 3 minutes on Matteo Jorgenson, which is probably why the American's gone for a move. I don't think it's the best idea in the world though, given that we have a long flat section before the final climb, so I'm content to just sit on the wheel of Guillaume Martin and keep out of the wind. And now Joao Almeida's attacking, so it is panicked stations for the podium. Paul Seixas might well have just put a bee in the bonnet of Matteo Jorgenson, and now Joao Almeida has to react. Juan Ayuso is letting it happen at the moment, just pacing his own tempo on the flat, and that could be a costly decision for the little Trekman, but it is all over the road already. 15 kilometers left of the stage and Paul Seixas is putting on an absolute clinic at the moment. It's still around 3 minutes and he's got 2 riders that he can ride with. Meanwhile, we've come to the front because it's getting steeper on the climb and draft will matter less. We've sat in the wheels, remember, and not used up any of our energy on the flat section. So now we've reeled in Almeida, we should be able to try and get a gap on him and really attack the rest of this stage. We're going to finish our Energel completely, and I think we're going to try and go for a move here as we look to catch up with Matteo Jorgenson, which could mean mass panic in the group because Paul Seixas, at the moment, might just go clear and win the whole thing. Here we go then, I am going to launch an attack. Matteo Jorgenson has been caught once more after attacking off the front. We've reeled him in and we're just going to keep the tempo high now and see who can hang with the pace at the moment. The answer is not Juan Ayuso, who is just off the back of this group. and riding in the wind at the moment, but now we're going to take our turbo gel and get ready to launch. Let's see who can hold this attack from Tobias Haland Johannessen. At the moment, it's Oscar Onley, who is the one rider that I didn't really want to take with me because I see him as the biggest threat for the top 5, apart from the fact that Ben Healy's up there. But as long as we stay within 5 minutes of the Irishman, I think we should be good in the general classification. So I'm just going to keep going, and it looks like Onley's deciding to do his own tempo, which is useful for me because then I can drop him and it's a pure 1v1 battle on this final climb of the Tour Auvergne Rhone Alpes. While the race is broken up into many pieces and Paul Seixas is 2 minutes ahead of Tobias Haland Johannessen and 3.5 ahead of the group of the yellow jersey, what did you guys think of the real-life Tour Auvergne Rhone Alpes this year? I think after a slow start, it's finally kicked into gear, and if Luke Tuckwell wins GC, then I will be really pleased for him and the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe team. What have you thought about the real-life Tour Auvergne Rhone Alpes this year? Let me know in the comments. In the race over here though, Paul Seixas is hammering home the authority on the yellow jersey, but Ben Healy has gone on and won the stage by a massive margin, ahead of Juan Ayuso in second, who seemingly just couldn't handle the pace of the Irishman on the final climb of the day, and that is concerning for our GC position. Not only are we nearly 7 minutes behind Healy on the road, but he's taken those 10 bonus seconds, and I'm starting to think that despite going really well today and dropping the likes of Jorgenson, Ayuso and Almeida, our 5th place on GC is in quite a lot of trouble. Although, all of a sudden, I'm seeing Paul Seixas up ahead just going under the 1 kilometre to go banner, and that's the first time I've seen him since around 60 kilometres to go when he first attacked. And that is an amazing performance from Paul Seixas. We're into the final kilometre with Tobias Haland Johannessen. We're going to run out of energy just before the line, but Paul Seixas is about to cross the line and win the Tour Auvergne Rhone Alpes, and he might do it by a humongous margin. We're going to be the second GC favourite to cross the line, and I am certainly worried that we are outside of the top 5 on GC. We've put nearly a minute into Oscar Onley, more than a minute into Oscar Onley, but it might not be worth it. What a stage. Ben Healy wins the Chris Harper Award for a stage win that in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter, because Harper won on that final day of the Giro last year, which Simon Yates won the GC on, and he will be forever remembered for that stage, Yates, and Harper will be forever forgotten. Ben Healy will be forever forgotten because Paul Seixas wins the Tour Auvergne Rhone Alpes for Decathlon CMA CGM. The Frenchman on the French team has marked his authority on the race and won it on the very last stage with a 65 kilometre raid. You could not write it. Wout van Aert wins the green jersey, and the polka dot jersey goes to the stage winner, Ben Healy, who takes it off Urianstad. And unfortunately, Anders Johannessen did not have it today to try and keep himself up in the standings. There we have it then. Ben Healy wins the stage, 5.5 minutes clear of Juan Ayuso in second, and Paul Seixas wins the Tour Auvergne Rhone Alpes, finishing third on the stage. Julien Bernard fourth, George Steinhauser fifth, and Tobias Johannessen a very respectable sixth. But in the end, it moves us down in the general classification to sixth, because Ben Healy jumps onto the podium ahead of Joao Almeida and Juan Ayuso as Paul Seixas wins the race by 2.5 minutes from Matteo Jorgenson. And so ends the first series on the channel for Tour de France 2026. There'll be a lot more coming, but for now though, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and stay safe, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.